welcome back. So I want to address, I want to address a theory that Michelle After Dark has. So she has a theory that maybe Sebastian wanted to go to his old school, and she even plotted out a route he might have taken, and a route that he might have taken that would have bypassed all the CCTV, or could have helped him bypass or be caught on CCTV, on the neighbour's CCTV. She did all that, and at first I was like, I don't know, But then watching a video today, she makes a lot of sense. I want to sort of like add on to that. I don't know how to put this. So like, you've got to remember that Sebastian is on the autistic spectrum. We all know that. So if he went to bed knowing that in the morning he was going to get up and go to school, his old school, not the school that he actually goes to, but his old school, if he had it in his head that that's what he was going to do the next morning, I can almost guarantee, because of him being on the spectrum, he would have still followed his actual routine that he did in the morning before going to school. Because even though it's the wrong school, it's his old school, I think he might have actually still followed his morning routine, to get washed, brush his teeth, get his stuff together, get changed, and then go to school. You've got to remember that he's on the spectrum. So the odds of him following his routine to go before going to school, even if it's the wrong school, is very high. But as Michelle further explored her own theory, it started to make sense, and I sat back and I started to think of possibilities as to why he might have left.
The shoes. Why did he leave barefooted? Look, this is my number one comment. Like every other comment, when I talk about the potential that Sebastian might have run away.
And I've come up with one. I've come up with a few, but the one that really plays true in my head is, what if Katie actually woke him up in the morning and he was there, he was laid in bed, she woke him up to go to school, to get ready to go to school. And there was some sort of interaction with them where he wanted to go to his old school, but she said, no, Sebastian, you've got to go to the school you go to now. He wanted to go to his old school. She said something along the lines of, no, you've got to go to the school you go to now. That's the one you go to. And in his confusion, maybe he's got a little bit confused as to why he can't go back to his old school, and it's caused an argument. And in that argument, maybe he's had like a meltdown. You've got to remember that meltdowns are separate from misbehaving. So maybe he's had a meltdown. Maybe he's had an argument with his mum when he's woke up, when she has woke him up in the morning to go to school, and he can't understand why he can't go back to his old school. So within that argument / or maybe both argument and a meltdown, he's ran out of the house, and maybe she blames herself, and maybe she's keeping it quiet because she thinks she's at fault. And she actually thinks, well, if I tell people this, they're going to come at me even more. If I tell the police this, they're going to come at me. The authorities are going to come and blame me, because I blame myself. It's my fault he ran out of the house. Maybe something like that's happened, and maybe that's why he also left without his shoes. His normal routine would maybe be, get up, go get washed, brush your teeth, get changed, and go to school, right? Maybe when he's been woken up, maybe there's been that argument. He can't understand why he can't go back to his old school. And within the heat of the moment, he's ran out of the house. And that's why he's not stopped to think to put his shoes on.
Katie and Seth have said that he only has 3 pairs of shoes, and that Katie gets rid of old shoes. When he outgrows a pair or they get scruffy, she gets rid of them, puts them in the trash.
What Michelle said there rings true to me. It rings true because I have a younger sister and she has an 8-year-old son. He's on the spectrum. He's high functioning on the spectrum. And he's the exact same with his shoes. She has to buy him the exact same brand, same colour, same everything, just a size up from what he was before, or he will not wear the new shoes. He won't. And then when she buys him those new shoes, she then has to throw out the old shoes, or he will continue to wear those old shoes, even if they're too small for him. She has to do it all the time. Every time she buys him a new pair of trainers, a new pair of shoes, she has to throw out the old ones, or he will wear them even if they are too small for him. So what Michelle said there about throwing the shoes out and everything, it rings true. I believe that. I actually 100% believe that that's what Katie has to do with Sebastian. It all makes sense to me. Being on the spectrum myself and understanding it from a point of view that not a lot of other people on YouTube can see it from. Also, I have two nephews that are on the spectrum. One that's very, very similar to Sebastian. One that's even more similar to Sebastian than the other one. I'm not going to go into details there, my family's personal details, but very, very similar. And my two nephews come from two different sisters. Trying to explain it in a way that doesn't give away any personal details. And they all have, my sisters have had very similar experiences with their sons, my nephews. Then Katie, Seth, and Chris. I know what you think about Katie and Chris, what Katie, Seth, and Chris have. My sisters have had the same type of experiences, same experiences with their sons on the spectrum as well. So the shoe thing makes sense. Having to throw the trainers out, the shoes out, makes sense to me. It makes total sense. And you've also got to understand that people on the spectrum, when they are upset, angry, because people on the spectrum, they do have a hard time controlling that anger. When they are angry, they can make, in the heat of the moment, decisions that then they later regret. But in the moment, they can't control that, especially if they're having a meltdown. So maybe something like that has gone on, and that explains why he has left the house with the clothes that he had on when he went to bed. I think that's what he left the house in, right? Plus, it could also explain why he left the house with no shoes on. Because in the heat of the moment, being on the spectrum, he's made a decision that didn't make sense and he would have later regretted. He has left the house and ran without his shoes. That could explain it. I'm not saying that's what's happened. I'm just saying that could explain it. It makes sense to me. And it's going to make sense to a lot of people out there that have kids that are also on the spectrum. It's going to make sense to a lot of people out there that are on the spectrum. That in the heat of the moment, when you get angry and it's hard to control your emotions, you make rash decisions that you later regret. But in the moment, you can't control yourself, especially when you're having a meltdown. And a meltdown is separate from getting angry and being unable to control that. A meltdown is separate and different from that. So in the heat of the moment, I think he might have made a decision that he would have later regretted. The shoes, not leaving the house with his shoes. But that could explain why he has left the house without his shoes. There's no definitive theory or possibility that I am 100% getting behind and supporting, because I don't know. There's a lot of stuff come out, a lot of stuff we've found out. Everything's still on the table for me. Anything and everything's still on the table. Apart from the crazy stuff. I watched Michelle's new video on her Michelle Walks channel about that comment about Chris and Katie being in the military. And in the military they have invisible cloaks and maybe they've used them. Like, that were a legit comment that Michelle received. Like, there's a lot of ridiculous theories out there. But the actual theories, the real theories that could actually be true, like the one I've just said, the one that Michelle said, there's others out there that have been talked about as well. They're all still on the table for me. I'm not 100% behind one theory or possibility. But I don't know, man. There's so much that's come out, so much that's been said, so much we've found out. Everything has to be on the table. Tell me what you think in the comments below if you've got something you want to say about this case. Your thoughts, your opinions on other theories and things that are out there. If you've got something you want to say, tell me in the comments below. Say it in the comments below. If you want to, you don't have to, but please consider hitting like. And again, if you haven't already, please consider hitting subscribe. And I will see you all again next time. Bye-bye.